feels like I'm meant to strike. Flat earth beneath my feet, knowing I'm here to meet. Ocean's edge, it calls my name. Purpose in this life's game. Horizons line so clear, God's love brings me near. Flat earth made by him, my journey long yet thin. Purpose found in every day, guided by his gentle sway. Mountains tallly stand.
Yo, Flows, what's up? Good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad we could make it. Please hit the likes, share the show, let everybody know we are live. We are joined by Michael, Janusz, Jeff, Roger, and special guest tonight, Drew, Scuba Drew, to be exact. Good to see you, man. It's his first live stream ever, so I feel honored to let him on. And I think we're having background noise somewhere.
I'm not hearing anything here.
No, I'm not.
Let's see. Oh, it's Roger again. I muted him. It's off now. Yeah, it's you, Roger.
Is that me?
Yeah.
No. Okay, hold on a second. I don't.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Anyway, we got Drew on. We want to say thank you for coming, man. You say you have a few questions. You want to talk about like the Vendee race and the RDD and things, and then
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I've been involved, not really involved, but I've been aware of the debate for several years. I had a friend a couple years ago that had said to me, he goes, hey, you know, the earth is flat. And I was like, what? And I'd never even thought about it. So I've been involved in the debate, but I'm not here to go over all the usual, talking points and arguments. I've been watching it for years and nothing goes anywhere. So, but I do have questions because you seem to be someone that can articulate things a little better than most. So when it comes to the RDD, it may sound elementary to start with, but I want to understand exactly what you guys think about the cause and effect in that sense. I know you like those words, cause and effect. But so basically, relative density disequilibrium, start off, that's correct, right? And so what I'm referring to is that, what I'm getting the idea is that it's the relative, or the difference between the densities relative to two particular masses or just items, whatever. It could be a medium that it's in and an object. I mean, when you think about relative density, it could be two objects next to each other that are relative to density with respect to each other. But in this case, it's the relative, it's the density difference between the object and the medium that it's in. Am I correct? And that's what you guys call it?
Yes, sure. But it's got to do with the displacement, though, because even if you have even if you have density differences, let's say foam has a different density than, let's say, to a ping pong ball. Okay, you won't expect something to go through foam, but if you had to put a brick on foam, it could break and go through it. So
that's going. You're getting into more things about molecular bonding strength and stuff. So that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to get to the basic level of the understanding of it. That if an object is less dense than the medium it's in, it will create a disequilibrium that is what generates the force to make it move. Is that what I'm getting from you guys?
Yeah, it gives an unbalanced force, which
it creates an unbalance, which creates the force. It doesn't have to. I don't care if you call it a force or not. I don't even want to get into that debate. I mean, there's too much of it. It's called this, called that, called this. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, it makes the thing move. All right, that's what I'm looking at. So, is that, in your opinion, is that the cause that creates the movement?
Yes.
Okay. So if there's a difference in those difference levels, so you have a delta between two mediums, but then you have another object which has a different delta, does it have a different force because it's a different change or different disequilibrium in density? Does it have a different force?
I think it depends on, like I said, the ratio displacements, because if you see,
what if they're exactly the same size?
Okay, so let's say,
well, let me give an example here. Let me give a little example, because when I was a kid, this is one of the reasons why I thought about this, because when I was a kid, I used to go to the pool and go swimming, and I had these two, I think it was something similar to a cue ball, but it wasn't a cue ball. It was a little lighter than a cue ball, but it's a cue ball. And I also had this wrought iron ball that was like a cannonball, and they were the same shape. And I remember going to the pool and having a lot of fun because I would drop the cue ball first, and it would go at its rate down through the water, and then I'd drop the other one, and it would go faster through it, and I'd try and hit it. I'd see if I could hit the other one with the other, despite it spinning back and forth, and it was a fun game I did a lot. And that would make sense that the heavier ball, because they're the same shape, same size, same medium, it has a greater disequilibrium, that it would fall at a faster rate than the cue ball. Am I correct in that? Would you agree with that or not?
Yeah, because of friction. The shape
Because of friction.
Aerodynamics.
But we're not in air, we're in water, and they're both the same size. So there's no difference. There's no difference in the size or the shape or the displacement of these objects.
No, the shape does change. There's, for instance, if you take a coin and you drop it in water, it will start going like this.
Yeah.
Because of the shape, because it has friction, it's resistance.
But Keith, we're not talking about a coin. We're talking about the two balls that I used to play with as a kid.
Yeah.
In the pool.
But
so this is my experience of dealing with this, and I'm trying to figure out, they're the same shape, they're the same size. The only thing different, one is cast iron and one is not, and the cast iron one would always fall faster through the water. Yeah. I'm assuming that's because the density is way different. There's a greater difference in density between the water and the cannonball than there is between the water and the cue ball.
Yeah, I usually like to explain it is it takes more energy to for something that's heavier to be able to to move it. So when you have something that's been able to accelerate quicker, it's because of the energy it's portraying, because it's giving kinetic energy.
Kinetic energy from what? They both have the same kinetic energy. I swam them to the top of the pool and I let them both go. There's no difference in kinetic energy between the two of them either.
Well, let's put it. Did it take more energy to pick the denser object up than it did the less dense object?
But what does that have to do with the amount of energy when they're in the water? It's a different different medium. As far as the medium is concerned, both balls were brought in at the surface with the same kinetic energy.
But that's what I'm saying. It takes more energy to lift a heavier ball up, a denser ball up. So therefore, it will have more potential to be able to move faster because it's heavier. It's got more mass.
And really, I'm sorry to laugh, but that's kind of, I mean, you're going all the way to the point where we have to look at the origin of when these two objects happen to be picked up and where they were picked up from.
No, not necessarily. I'm just trying to
if I take the heavy ball and I pick it up,
than the other.
So if I pick up the heavy ball and I give it energy, do I give it more energy if I pick it up higher?
Yeah, because you're giving.
Okay, so what if I picked up the metal, the heavy ball from right at the surface of the water? I didn't even pick it up. It was sitting on the ground. And I just rolled it onto a surfboard and I rolled it out to the middle of the pond. But the other ball, I went all the way downstairs in the basement of the building to pick it up. So I have a lot more potential energy on that other ball than I did on the metal ball. Now they're both out into the middle of the water and I let them both go. The heavier ball still goes faster.
I don't think the issue is not about how far you took it. It's about the displacement it's giving. So
but the displacement is the same amongst the two in the medium that they're falling in.
Yeah, but the displacement ratio is different because one is.
How is it different?
The one's heavier.
The displacement, the displacement ratio. So it's the density then. So it's the density. One's denser.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. The density difference is what creates the rate of acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
But then why do they fall at the exact same rate in a vacuum tube? When I was in school, and this isn't from like what I've been told. This is when I was in school, we had this really cool device that had two chambers in it. One was under vacuum, one was not. They both had a marble and a feather. And you would turn it upside down. And you would watch the one without the vacuum, the feather would float because of the air resistance. And the one without, they would both fall. So the marble and the feather have extremely different density ratios. And in fact, if you think about the displacement of it, the marble probably displaced more mass because the feather was so small and so thin that even in that case, the marble still should have fallen faster than the feather because it was displacing. I mean, it had a greater density disequilibrium. And that's the part I can't understand about the theory, because that part doesn't make sense to me. In my understanding of physics, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you is that remember, because you have a different density, it takes more energy to lift it up. Okay, just like it takes more energy for it to move. So when you're going to pick up two different objects and you're medium dependent, because you're saying in this case water, so there is friction. So when you try and drop them in a vacuum, there's no friction of air. So that's why they fall at the same rate. When you drop them in the water, they have a difference because of the friction. That's why I said we look at the aerodynamic properties of them.
But they're the same shape. So you have to take friction and aerodynamics out of it because it's the same surface area passing across the same amount of water.
The displacement ratio. The displacement ratio
it's
is
just
different. It's heavier.
One's denser. One's denser.
Because it's easier for something that has more weight to push through something than something that has less weight. Let's, for instance, put in another vector. If you had to go and push a car, it's more difficult for you to do it alone. But if you have someone with you pushing, it's easier to push the car. So it's the same if you had to change the vector downwards. If two people are pushing, it's easier than one person because there's more weight being attributed. There's more force being attributed. So the heavier object, the more force is attributed. So that's why the ratio is different.
Yes.
Well, that was a lot of complicated word salad that didn't have anything to do with the two balls that I'm dropping in the water.
More mass
Solid.
with more force. That's all.
It didn't have any relation to the experiment or the observation I saw with the two balls in the water.
It has exactly that, and it can be shown, proven, because if you take those two objects and put it in a vacuum, the one will weigh more than the other one.
So just answer this: if a metal ball is sitting on the ground, does it always have a constant state of disequilibrium?
Everything always has state of disequilibrium.
Always. Does it ever reach equilibrium?
It sits at static.
Even if it's sitting static, it never reaches
It
equilibrium.
has a relative equilibrium point.
What do you mean by relative equilibrium point?
Like this tin can, this is its relative equilibrium point. It's sitting static.
Okay, so it's relative to whoever it's on. So
now it has a new relative equilibrium point.
in short, the answer is yes, that it does always have a disequilibrium. Then I was just curious because I had never really heard anyone talk about that. But well, yeah. I will move on to the next one because I'm limited on time again, like I was saying. But I can say that thank you for answering it, even though I don't agree with your answer. I think it just doesn't make any sense from my observations that I've seen when it comes to that kind of stuff. That it would have to be related to the energy taken in moving it from where it was originally, because then, hell, you got to go back to where it originally came from. I mean, does something have more energy because it was mined from minerals too far down in the earth versus one that was mined at the surface? I mean, where do you stop when it comes to determining how much kinetic energy something has with it? And how can you determine that that is the reason why it falls faster? It makes a lot more sense that it's just the difference between the densities and the heavier object's going to go faster. That would make sense for density disequilibrium. The only problem with that is when you throw it in a vacuum tube, then things get all thrown into whack. That doesn't make any sense.
So that's what I said. There's more levels to it. You're ignoring that it's the medium and the object to medium ratio. So when you take the medium away in a vacuum, that's
hold on. I'm not going to let you say that I'm ignoring something because I'm not ignoring it. I'm absolutely taking into account the displacement of the medium, the density of the medium, the density of the objects, all of that, the surface area, the resistance, taking all into account because I'm strictly looking at it from the surface of the pool to the bottom of the pool. That's the moment right there.
That's in water. That's what I'm saying. So when you when you try to equivocate it now to a medium that is almost non-existent like a vacuum, it has different ratio properties. It doesn't have the same amount of friction. So why would it behave the same?
That's why I went to the example of the feather in the marble that I saw when I had that device when I was growing up, because those are two very, very vastly different dense objects that there should be some difference in acceleration.
That's what I'm telling you. Surface area.
But there's a vacuum. It's a vacuum.
Surface area. Yeah, but
there's no resistance.
Yes, exactly. You took the medium away. So why would you expect it to have the same properties as when you had it with a friction area? I'm
expecting it to react to the density disequilibrium.
It is.
That's what I'm expecting it to react. And when they fall together, they don't.
It's different because it has less pushback. It has less pushback by the medium.
Well, it has none because they're in a vacuum. So let's get rid of the resistance. There's no resistance between the feather and the marble. None.
Great.
No resistance in the air. All there is the mass. That's it.
Objects.
There's the surface area can be taken out of account because there's no resistance from any other medium. There's no atoms to be hitting it.
So it's displacing
Because
nothing.
the mass, because the density disequilibrium between nothing and the objects is what's making it fall. The disequilibrium between the nothing and the marble is a lot stronger and a lot greater of a disequilibrium than it is between the nothing and the feather. So that's why it just doesn't make sense that they don't fall at a different rate.
Okay, let me try and play this
That's
in
all I'm
another
going to say
way.
with it.
Let me try and explain this in another way. So let's start with the vacuum. You got the two objects that fall at the same rate. Why? Because there's no resistance. So when you take those same objects and put them in a medium with resistance, you understand the displacement ratio changes.
What's the difference? What's the ratio of difference in density between the two objects in the vacuum?
That would be based on nothing because there is no.
No, come up with a value. So then when we change the medium, we can understand the reaction. So just give me a theoretical value of two densities between two objects that are in the vacuum falling together.
Let's just say the unbalanced force would be equal to 1.
Of what? Which one?
Both of them. Because
the unbalanced force. If the unbalanced force is 1, then they're not going to be density different. There's no density between the difference between the two of them.
Because the density doesn't matter in a vacuum.
So remember, how can it be density disequilibrium if it doesn't matter? That doesn't make any sense either.
Wait. The phone is still denser than nothing around it. You understand?
Okay, let's not go to another.
Dude, you just keep interrupting every time. You cut off Flats at the end of his sentence every time. Can you just be a little patient till he gets to the end of his sentence?
I'm trying to stay focused on the topic at hand. I'm trying to look at this vacuum chamber with the feather and the marble.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about a phone. We're talking about the feather and the vacuum. That's it.
Okay, a feather and a marble, whatever. If there's no air around it, everything is fair play game. You can put it as 0 because there is no resistance. The resistance is what changes the amount of displacement when you place it in a medium.
But could you repeat that again?
The resistance is what changes the amount of displacement when you stick it in a medium.
Yes.
Because something that is denser, a medium that is denser, has more force attributed to the object. And
I'm just trying to go back to what you said.
This denser has less force attributed onto the object. Therefore, it has different ratios in different mediums.
Okay, that's fine. Different ratios, different mediums. We're talking about the vacuum. We're not talking about different mediums.
And the vacuum has no resistance at all, so therefore they fall at the same rate.
And isn't found in nature.
And also that rate is an average, and it does change within different variables. It does change.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know, like I said, I have my beliefs, I have my understanding. I'm not gonna say beliefs because I know you guys know that, but I have my understanding of the physical world from my experiences. So I'm just curious because I've wanted to hear the example, I wanted to hear an explanation to that RDD issue. But like I said, I'm limited on time. I gotta go horseback riding. So at least now I know what you're saying. I don't agree with it, but I know what you're saying. So thank you for answering my question. Now, I wanted to discuss the Vendee globe race with you guys.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing I got to ask is, what's his name? Sovereign Soul Unlimited Unchanged Mind. Who is that?
He's not here tonight, though. But
oh, he's not there. Not here. I thought he was earlier.
No, he's not here.
Who?
Oh, okay. Sovereign Soul, he said something in a live stream about how the average speed of the boats was 4.7 knots, and I wanted to ask him where he got that information from. But he's not here to answer it, so. What do you know about that race?
Hervey Raboni. He's
what do you guys?
Sorry, Jeff.
What do you guys know about that race?
Too many people.
Sorry.
Jeff said something about Raboni.
Yeah, Hervé Raboni. He's been a participant in the Globe of Vendee race multiple times. Okay. And he said the speeds that they were traveling at did not coincide with the speeds that they were displaying to the people like watching the race.
Okay. Is that one guy saying that?
Yeah, he took part in it. It's a guy
Yeah.
that took part in the race.
I'm curious because wouldn't all 40 competitors say that?
Well, the thing is, why would they all come at different times and different distances for doing the same race?
Well, the distances, obviously, they're not following the exact.
Oh, cut out.
I'm going to have to get ready to go.
Oh, there we go.
Taking
Sorry,
shorter than I
cut
thought.
out again.
The obviously, since they're not on the same track, I mean, you run an S curve, you're going to be going different distances. Am I still on this stream?
Yeah,
Yep.
you're still on. Yeah.
What happened?
You're good.
You dropped out for a
What
second.
happened?
You're still up there.
Crap.
Can you hear us?
Am I there? Okay, am I here still?
Yeah, you're still here.
All right, hold on a second. My alarm went off on my phone to let me know I'm out of time, and it shut everything down when the alarm went off. I can't hear again. Hang on.
Everything's out of sync as well, yeah. Still getting echoing though.
No stress. Can you hear us?
You guys there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would just.
Okay, I see you talking, but I can't hear it. I don't know. It says my
I was
speaker's
just going to
on.
suggest if there's not got
Here.
much time, why don't you come back and do it when there's more time? Because I can't be doing with this like rushing through stuff business. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna jump out and jump right back in.
Okay.
It keeps.
And I just want to say, Mike from Drunk
to
Debunk Show, I wasn't squirming at all. I was explaining it to the guy on a very rudimentary level, which he still couldn't get.
That guy's an idiot. That guy's an idiot. He can't help himself.
You see, the sad thing is,
all he does is sit there.
Mike wanted me to talk to this guy on his show, and I said, no, he can come to my show. So they think they got some kind of got you where it's literally just not understand what's going on.
Why do they always go to the feather thing? I don't know.
Hey, don't be talking smack when I leave, man. Come on. I know
It's
you're
not smack, it's the truth, man. I'm talking about Mike from Drunk Debunk Show.
No, I mean either way, I don't think any of those guys do that. I know you. Sometimes they do. There are some gotcha things out there, but it's equal on everybody. Everybody does the gotchas. You guys do it too, just as much as anyone else does. So no one can claim innocence on this one. But anyways, okay, back to the globe
Don't
race.
go out of our way to do it,
So-
though. That's the difference.
Back to the globe race. So all of these guys leave out at the same time. And obviously, you can see the different weather patterns. The two guys that came in first, I watched them from the beginning. The two guys that came in first, they got a really lucky break because they took a route inside some islands that made them avoid the doldrums, and they got way ahead of everybody else. So they did a different route. So there's going to be different distances for every boat on the race because they all do slightly different routes. The point is, the overall distance of the race is about 45,000 kilometers. That's from France down around South Africa, around everything, and back up to France. So I haven't taken the time to look at how much of that 45,000 kilometers needs to be taken off from the southern latitude lines up to France and back, because that's not really the distance around. But it just doesn't conform with, match what would be anything other than, the reality of the distance for the race being on a globe, on a sphere. And the speeds they do, I mean, the 24-hour speed record for one of these boats during a 24-hour time period. Do you guys have any idea how far they went in 24 hours?
Well,
I'm going to be honest, I know nothing about this race. Like, so.
614 nautical miles in 24 hours, averaging 29 knots. From a sailor's perspective.
That's why I said you'll have to ask some where he got those speeds from.
Yeah, because it isn't right. But that's one of those things, I think you guys should look more into that rather than just listening to one person saying that their mileage wasn't necessarily right, because all of those boats, when they're done, you can see the speed over ground, their distance over ground that they traveled, the overall distance. I mean, you can look back and all of them are in contact with shore teams throughout the entire race. So I just find it really, really hard to think that every one of those teams and every one of those boats could have such erroneous errors that would be necessary for it to be wrong.
What's your claim regarding this race? Like, what?
Well, it's kind of a evidence for the fact that we live on a sphere.
Yeah, well,
that it's a shorter distance.
It's measured flat, so whatever.
Because it's
your race,
because the distance they sailed.
Well, the distances change all the time. That's the whole point. And their speed changes and the amount of time they take changes.
Well,
remember, all this is happening on Dead Reckoning. They all do this based on Dead Reckoning.
They're not all doing it Dead Reckoning. With technology now today, there's multiple ways that they can be doing their navigation.
Quick question.
The celestial navigation can work. They've got all their electronics. They've got their backup
navigation
stuff.
requires dead reckoning.
Well, that's another discussion to have at some point with you about celestial navigation, because I don't agree with what you say on that one at all. But I have to get going, so I'm going to go horseback riding, and that's what I originally wanted to do.
Enjoy.
Thank you for taking the time with me. Thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you for letting me come on.
Can I just say,
One
if you're
question
going to
to
come
you.
back, can you make sure you get enough time? Because rushing through stuff like this is nowhere to be done, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. But I
if
appreciate
you're
you
going to
coming,
come
man.
back again, try and plan for a couple of hours or something.
It just took me enough to figure out what the freaking time zone difference was to find out what time it could do this. So once we get it figured out, I get better at it. So, anyways,
Quick question to you related to your question. Do you
Sure.
think that in the world we have more conformists or more moralists?
you'll have to say that again. I don't quite. I'll be honest with you. I really have a hard time understanding you when you speak.
Do you think that in the world we have more people who are conformists or more people who are moralists?
Conformists or moralists?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
said.
Well, that would require a whole entire explanation of how you define those words. So I don't have time for that one. But I'm not sure exactly where that goes. But
Exactly to those people who were in the race. It's exactly the
they're
same.
sailors. They're sailors.
Yes.
They love to sail and they want to go around the world as fast as the other guy and beat them. That's all they are. They're
Right.
diehard sailors. I know those guys really well. I am one of them.
Mhm.
I've spent 10,000 miles sailing the open oceans. I'm a sailor. I understand what it's like. So
Hey, yes, up.
it's a drive.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah,
now
yeah,
he shows
so-
up, and I gotta run. I gotta go, dude. I'll talk. I'll talk at some point.
I've been
Trust me,
trying to
I'll talk-
connect for the
I will
last
come back
20
on.
minutes. I've been trying to connect for the last 20 minutes and couldn't get this damn thing to go to I couldn't get on the internet.
All right, I don't feel so bad now about my problems. All right, I gotta run, guys.
We'll organize another time. We'll organize another time when
Thank
you got
you.
more time. Chop.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you.
Enjoy your back ride. Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think
so
he
you
un-
stopped in.
I
Hey,
think
Sam,
he
how you
understood the
doing?
question
Yeah.
in a matter of moralists and conformists. It was exactly related to his question. Why only one guy said it about the speed? That's how it is. Majority of people, they are conformists.
Yeah, but not just that. People aren't worrying about that. The thing is, how it works is they try and course their pattern based on dead reckoning, where the patterns are, how the current's moving, how the wind's moving, and that's how they try and race through. Because remember, it's all wind powered with them.
Yes,
So
exactly.
And in a lot,
none of this is globe based.
in
None of it.
in
No,
real,
guys, we should check this race on the Flat Earth map.
in
So
reality,
that's how we're going.
in
I gotta
reality,
go.
you don't notice things till you've come out
Right.
of heliocentric religion. You know what I mean? And then you look back and you think, "Hold on a minute," you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
there's that.
That's it.
You know,
Yeah.
if the ball's deep in heliocentrism, they probably don't even question what they're doing. They just do a race.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say something really quick because I do have to go here. So what I'm going to say is that if you look, Hervé Raboni has done a bunch of videos going through the entire race and showing them when they showed the video clips of them doing stuff on the boat, they're in fast motion. And it was showing them they're going faster than they're actually traveling. So that's how they do that. They make it look like they're going faster when they're going slow, and then slow when they're like, they're trying to average out the speeds, right? And that's what they do, right? And
Eddie did a whole series on that, didn't he? Like,
Yeah,
the whole. Yeah.
Do you have
Yeah.
a link? Do you have a link? Maybe you can. send?
Eddie Banjo, it'll be on Eddie Banjo's channel, I believe. But you just
Oh,
type in Hervé
Taboo.
Raboni.
I think Taboo's
Yeah,
got
Taboo
it.
does.
Taboo probably does too. Yeah. But anyways, I got to go. God bless, guys.
Later, Jeff.
Thanks, man.
Yes.
I ain't got much interest in it, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, I was just having a conversation in chat about me and Brenda talking about circumnavigation and how you have to dead reckon and you can't do it on a ball. There's
Yep.
no way you can. And he even considered that, and he conceded to that on my show. And here we are talking about the same thing. Jeez.
Brenda's retarded. I don't even know why you would talk to her.
Him, yeah. Well, he came on my show, interrupted everything, and it got into an argument with me in the process. And then I broke him down with the circumnavigation and how you have to dead reckon to due north. That was the whole point of the conversation. Nothing else.
No, actually, from its standpoint, its whole purpose for the conversation was to derail your show. That's
Yep.
all. Okay.
I was doing John Levy. I was covering some of his discoveries in the show.
Oh, you're talking about
decided-
Brenda about that few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I know. I came on and said, "What the hell is it doing here? Get it off!" Are you scared by me, PJ? Are you intimidated by me? Just get it off.
No shit.
Yeah, Jesus.
Who won't be intimidated by a man dressed as a woman?
If I woke up in the middle of the night and saw it in my room, I would run.
I think I'd be having them. One of them funny dreams, you know, incubus, succubus dreams. You know what I mean?
God. He should be a grandpa by now, like me, but instead he decided to be a woman.
Grandma.
I think it is just the incubus, succubus demon. That's what it is together. That's Brenda itself.
I'm just looking if I can find something on Taboo Conspiracy channel. So for nothing.
I'll go to Eddie's.
If anybody has a link for it, would be
I
really
can-
appreciated.
You search thing and type Hervé Rabona.
I tried. It keeps giving me stupid things like not a Professor Dave
Oh god.
Oh boy.
and Simon Dan. All these
Experts
idiots.
in the field.
Yeah. Like you ask for Taboo Conspiracy, then they give you Simon Dan. What the hell?
I know, it's ridiculous.
I'll see what I can do. Hold on.
But yeah, like I was trying to explain to this guy, because he is apparently he's a scuba dive instructor, and so he should know all about you need containment to breathe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. That's what scuba means. Self-contained.
Mm-hmm. But
I'm
yeah,
in
the Vendee race, guys, for all the Globers out there thinking that it's somehow a globe something. No, actually, it's against the globe. The whole path they take alone debunks the globe. There's a reason why they do it a certain way. Okay, you got it. Thanks, man.
RT, that's how I'd pronounce it as well. I'd say John Levi, not John Levy. I only say Levy because I'm used to other people saying it. But if I read it, I'd say Levi, like the jeans.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mike beat me to it.
Like that song, that Elton John song.
Yeah.
Levi likes his money.
I just want to say thank you, Roger Little, for gifting a membership. Really appreciate it, man. You rock.
Easy.
Oh, I found it.
And then everybody hit the likes. Share the show, please. It really helps support the show. You guys rock. Okay.
Today I have the privilege of sharing another fascinating Flat Earth presentation from Hervé Raboni, which will be added to my Hervé Raboni playlist, which you can find here. For those who are new to this discussion, Hervé was a professional sailor who crossed the Atlantic 8 times and circumnavigated our entire flat Earth as a participant in the Whitbread 1993-1994 race. As Hervé has discussed in prior videos, as part of the Cabal's process to change our flat Earth reality into a false globe, the controllers artificially enlarged the northern hemisphere and simultaneously shrunk the southern hemisphere. In other words, actual distances in the east-west direction in the northern hemisphere are shorter than claimed by maps and the globe, while in the southern hemisphere, actual distances between points are farther away. But the same does not apply in the north-south direction. This deception has created various telltale signs of manipulation. Due to his experience in sailing, Hervé noticed that actual distances were shorter in the northern hemisphere and farther in the southern hemisphere. In addition, both false magnetic declination adjustments.
Remember, this is what we were talking about magnetic declination before. I do believe they use the magnetic declination to account for the Earth, and that's why they're trying to make it seem like the distances are working for a globe, but it's not, because there's more declination in certain areas, and this could be why it doesn't make sense. And that's what I was trying to tell this guy, that the fact that they all take the same route and their distances vary a lot. It's not just a little bit, it's a lot. And sometimes it takes them even maybe 20 days longer to do the same race, the same distance. How's that work?
That doesn't make no sense at all, sir.
I mean, either someone's very idiotic at sailing or someone's just super good.
And time zones certainly hide these changes. In my opinion, the time zone deception is the most obvious, since there are only 19 time zones in the Northern Hemisphere, while there are 31 to 32 time zones in the Southern Hemisphere. That only makes sense on the flat Earth.
If I'm correct, how is possible that China, if it's so big, has only one time zone?
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
32 time zones.
But if Alaska and Canada, no, what did they say? Who's like you can France? No, Russia and Alaska are so close to each other. Why do they have? You can literally see one another, and they have a 4-hour time zone difference.
Yeah, it's mental.
They can literally see each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Certain part of Alaska. Yeah, because when you see it on a flat map, it looks end to end, like poles apart, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it's wrapped around a globe, you see them not far from each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you should watch.
In his last presentation,
sent to link to flat how moon works. It's not going like a perfectly in a circle. It's going like a 1 degree up and down as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know it. So it's on the Space Buster channel. I have a link to it. I don't agree with everything because they speak a lot of BS about the Christ. But in a matter of how it works on flat Earth, because he's a flat earther, woman explains pretty well. So it's pretty good take. I will find the link.
I watched that Hey Dude whole episode yesterday, and what it is he's trying to say they're using the time zones to make it seem like there's a midnight sun in Antarctica.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
They also showed us how road map scales in the north are wrong. Road maps have been artificially stretched to hide the fact that driving distances don't match the distances of nautical mile straight pathways of airplanes and boats. To be clear, your driving distance aren't wrong. Driving distances cannot be altered, but nautical mile pathways of airplanes and boats can be altered. But the controllers had to make it appear as though the driving distances match the...
Yeah, you see, the excuses they have for planes and boats is drift.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, because they say, oh, you drifted a bit off, so therefore your distance has changed. With a car, you can't drift off. So it's a bit different.
Yeah, didn't Bob measure the distance between Missouri and Florida with a car? He drove all that way and proved the globe with his car. He used his odometer to do it. Remember that? It was just a long time ago, but yeah, he did that.
Odometer. Yeah, it's weird here they call that. Mileometer. I'm used to calling it. Mileometer.
nautical mile distances of the straight pathways of airplanes and boats. For example, an airplane that supposedly flies at 520 knots may actually only be flying at 260 knots. I'll have links in the description to Hervé's prior discussions on these topics if you haven't seen them. This next presentation builds on the roadmap presentation by showing how boat speeds based on nautical miles are artificially inflated. It's very difficult for a sailor to determine independently how fast he's actually traveling, and that's how the controllers have gotten away with this. For the first part of the presentation, Hervé shows how the official recordings of the American Cup competition were artificially sped up to make it appear as though the boats were traveling faster than they actually were. Officially, those boats supposedly travel up to 80 kilometers per hour or 50 miles per hour. but the actual speed is much less. You'll see how the movements of the sailors appear much more natural when slowed down by approximately 30%, and that when the official video is compared to independent footage from a spectator, you can see the speeds of the boats have been artificially increased. For the second part of the video, Hervé goes into detail about the apparent wind angle used in sailing. Officially, those American Cup boats are supposedly traveling at 80 kilometers per hour. He demonstrates that those speeds are physically impossible for sailing. This part
Wow, that'll be interesting.
I think I've seen all this like once before.
No,
he
but
does a good job with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a bit of this because it rings a bell now. Seeing him standing at that whiteboard, but no, I haven't seen all of that. I didn't know about this really, but it rings a bell now. I've heard a bit of it. Interesting.
May seem confusing, but when his car was parked, the true wind angle came from behind the car and to the right at 135 degrees, as indicated by the weather vane. But as he began accelerating, the apparent wind angle shifts to the front of the car. A sailor would be aiming for an apparent wind angle of 27 degrees to inflate the sails, and that angle becomes impossible as the car travels faster than 45 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, because you're traveling faster in the wind.
Gosh.
Yeah. I got one thing to say. I'm going to quote Bev. You can do F all with an angle. But
yeah.
This is actually showing you can do F all with an angle, Bev. Pay attention.
Yeah. But yeah, think about it. That's why they try and they do certain currents and stuff to catch the wind so they can speed up. So they know they have to go with current, they have to go with the wind, they have to go with the weather.
So you're in the wrong chat. You're short. Oh, you got it now.
Backup channel.
A sailboat cannot travel faster than approximately 45 kilometers per hour because the forward apparent wind angle makes it impossible to inflate the sails.
Right.
Very interesting. Based on the evidence Hervé has uncovered, we can see the methods of the controllers have used to create the phony sphere, which confirms our flat Earth reality. Anyways, let's get to Hervé's presentation. Enjoy.
Hello. In this video, we are going to observe the speed of the boat.
Nice.
We will prove that the official boat speed is false.
They always got to keep it in mind. We've seen that too many times so far. How different there is in these new modern boats that are going 3 or 4. Clear of the other boats just right there, but they always got to keep it in mind. We've seen that too many times during this.
Yeah, you can see the differences already.
So why would they speed that up? That's my question. Doesn't make sense.
To
get it to match.
Remember, because they have certain distances that they have to travel in a certain time because it needs to be a globe.
It's the same trick that NASA uses when they use the Earth moving underneath their ISS at the speed it goes in their live streams. It doesn't go that fast. Yeah.
Exactly that.
Hey,
You see how those guys are bouncing around in there like this real fast?
Yeah.
You can tell it's sped up.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. What would you
otherwise do? Otherwise, the Energizer bunnies or something. I don't know.
Hey, Flat, I wanted to say
this video.
Look, I do appreciate you having to get on a remedial level and 3 different explanations on the discussion that you just had with the gentleman that was just on.
Oh, with RDD.
Yeah, and it was awesome the way that you were able to go back into it and put it in 3 different types of framework of explanation. It was totally understandable. Someone that doesn't want to see it is not going to see it, and that's the bottom line.
But that's what I'm saying. He wanted me to that Mike from Debunk Show specifically wanted me to actually talk to that guy on his show.
Right.
I said, no, he can come to my show. They thought they're going to have a got me.
Yeah.
That's what they thought they're going to have.
Yeah.
I wish Saab would have got on too. So
I was trying, man. I was trying my damnedest.
Where's my dude at?
Ended up having to restart my motor.
Yeah,
you're good.
But it's very simple. It's
I just wanted to tell
how
you
much more can we explain it in a simpler way for these guys?
I mean,
no idea.
Okay, just had to put that out there. Sorry to interrupt.
I got a question while you're on that. Why do they always use a feather? Because feathers are the least resistant thing to any kind of atmosphere. It's going to drop just as fast as anything else. It's aerodynamic as can get, even in a vacuum.
But that's why I said they're ignoring the medium. They're ignoring the resistance. And that's why I was talking about aerodynamics specifically. Even in water, aerodynamics plays a role. Just like I said with the coin, it will go and it will swaft like this because it has pushback. It has more force pushing back.
Yes.
So if you have to take that coin and put it in a vacuum, it has no thing to push, so it will just fall.
Yeah, another thing is, I asked previously, I said it on the chat. We know that gravity does not exist, but the question is, what really holds together this world? Maybe in the vacuum there are some kind of powers, forces, which we are not aware of. We can't understand it because we don't know they exist. That's a possibility.
Electricity holds everything together.
Say it again?
Everything's held together by electricity. But as far as the falling and rising, it's nothing more than a simple
but what about
ratio
vacuum?
between the object
It's
and
not
the
nothing there.
medium.
Yeah.
An object is never not subject to a medium.
Exactly.
Even in a vacuum, it's just
always something.
Just a different medium.
It's a thinner medium. That's all you've done.
It's just less air.
And what Saab's talking about is
And
the
then there's
molecular
no
bonds
perfect
are
vacuum, right?
electrically held together in a solid. Yeah. No, there's not.
Nature abhors a vacuum.
But when we hear vacuum, everyone assumes there's nothing happening there. No, there's always something happening.
Right.
There's no other way.
That's right.
There's no perfect vacuum, for sure.
No perfect vacuum.
Perfect doesn't exist. Only God.
And then the misinterpretation that it's an average. 8.9 is just an average, and it does change with different variables. The Cavendish, which Saab goes into and explains how misleading that is, and I think you've touched on it as well, Flat. It has to do with other things other than some force pulling to mass. And that's one of the basic concepts a construct that they've kind of derived from the madness to hold this thing together, and then they compartmentalize it to where, this is a truth that's separate from everything.
Like I told you before,
and that's what they did with the ether. That's what they
there
did
is
with
no
everything.
perfect vacuum. And
I'm glad you touched on the Cavendish thing, because Flats is doing a 2.0, right? Sorry.
No worries. Like I was
I'm ready
saying,
for that
there's
one.
no perfect vacuum, yeah. And I said it before, and I said it again. Nobody's perfect as well.
Right.
My name is nobody.
I just want to say thank you, Matthew Easton, for your $5 suggestion.
Primary
Be a
school.
character lifting some weight, saying keep it up.
Yeah.
Thank you for the support, Dorothy. You rock. Appreciate the support, man.
It's a pair.
Oh, it's a
steroid.
sticker.
That's
It's
why
a
I love
sticker.
so much English, because this double speak, you can really tilt it, twist it, change it. It's huge opportunity to play with the words in English.
Mm-hmm.
So in Polish, Janos means nothing or nobody? Sorry.
No, no. It's from exactly the translation would be John.
All right.
That's the equivalence in the English language. The name John. Jan, John. It's exactly Jan, Janusz. Jan is like let's say that will be what the name? What name?
Like Jean.
William. Yeah, William is proper name. Yes, William.
Oh, instead of
As
Billy.
Jan,
Yeah,
Janusz.
got you. Yeah. Yeah, I know plenty of people called Janusz in Coventry. There's loads of Polish people who call Janusz. Pavel as well, as in Paul. Pavel.
Back in the days, Pavel and Pete and Piotr, Pavel and Piotr, Paul and Peter, very popular names. Very, because Poland is a Catholic country, unfortunately not Christian, but Catholic. So, and they were using those names a lot, you know.
Yeah, of course.
The disciples, plenty.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready to go on? See
Yeah,
what he
man.
says. Sure.
Follow the previous video on distances where we observed that the distances on the maps, in particular the distances as crow flies, are also wrong by about double.
Yeah.
That is to say that the scale of the distances on the maps are twice too large. This to corresponds to the distance of the globe. And as these distances are twice too great for journey as the crow flies, and the speed of plane and boats are also going to be too big by half. That is to say, a plane which officially flies at 900 kilometers per hour in reality flies at 450 kilometers per hour or less. And a boat which sails at 25 knots, that is to say approximately 46 kilometers per hour, will actually travel in a straight line half. So I suggest you watch the video on distances to fully understand the subterfuge.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, like when they take planes and they fly, they say they're taking the distance on the ground.
Well,
How,
I mean, like, if
how
you
does
look
it? How does it exactly take it to the ground though? Because parallax is a thing. Because you're constantly moving, okay? The parallax is a thing on the ground. So I find that a bit odd. Or is it just a kind of laser measurement, or I don't know.
I mean, there's
I don't know how they
a
measure it.
difference between as the crow flies and driving, because, like, just say the UK, like Land's End to John O'Groats is probably about 800 mile in length. But if you drive it, it's going to be 1,000 odd probably, you know? There's certainly a big difference, isn't there?
Couldn't you actually say that speed is medium dependent too, in any direction? So it would be the relative density to the object would cause your speed to vary, and you have to configure your speed with that in mind, especially flight and sailing. You have to figure in your resistance to the medium you're in.
Well, yeah, well, it would be, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, of course. If you're going through something that's viscous, it's going to slow you down, isn't it? It's thicker than something else. It's going to slow you down.
It probably use more fuel, like, but I don't know if it would affect your speed, like, because it.
Well, that as well, yeah. That's
like,
dependent on that.
Speed limit all over, no matter how windy it is.
Yeah. It says Howard does an airspeed indicator. Okay. So it uses it by measuring the forward speed of aircraft. It uses aircraft pitted static system to compare pitted and static pressures and thus determine forward speed. So it just uses different pressures.
Makes sense.
So just
kind of
uses,
like a vertical.
Yeah, but I mean, so if it's using the static pressure and using the pitted pressure, and then it goes into a barometric capsule, then it gives its reading. How do you know that it's very accurate?
That's it. I mean, C. Langton just said about mileage markers could be manipulated, like signs. I remember when I was a kid, and there was a sign coming when we were coming back from some place going back to Fraserburgh. There was a 7 mile to Fraserburgh sign, and my dad always used to say that sign's wrong because he'd do it in the mileometer in the car or odometer, whatever you want to call it. And it was 4 mile, 3 mile difference. It said 7 mile from that sign, but it was 4 mile. My dad always said that was wrong. So I mean, they could be doing that. It might have just been a mistake, but they could be doing that, you know.
I've heard that before about the distances. Like the town I lived in, it was supposedly like 2 miles away from the next town, but it was like a mile and a half.
But I mean, if you look at it, okay, there's the rod. Okay, yeah. But how's that going to know what speed you're traveling across the ground, though?
Right.
Because it's just air pressures.
Of course.
So they are able to fake the speed then.
Absolutely.
It's just...
This called a pedostatic tool is what measures the speed of this F-16 and any other plane in the sky. Knowing the airspeed is crucial for the pilot because the plane will crash if the speed is too low. Airspeed indicator failure has led to many crashes in the past. Just these 4, the ones you can see on the screen, took 494 lives. Not a single soul survived, because in all these cases the plane smashed into the ground or the ocean.
Okay. I want him to explain to us.
It's intuitive. We measure the rotation speed of the wheels, and by knowing their diameter, we can get the ground speed with a simple equation. But it's different with planes. Since there aren't any mechanical parts that can translate to speed, we have to look for other ways. Bernoulli's principle, which states that an increase in the speed of a fluid occurs at a decrease in static pressure, can help us to determine the airspeed. The pedostatic tube consists of a central hole, which is aimed at the direction of travel, and outside holes, which are perpendicular to the direction of travel.
So it travels through there.
Right.
Okay.
We can now shoot.
Yeah.
Outside holes measure static pressure. This is the pressure we all experience, no matter whether are we moving or not. It's
Why are you doing this? Why are you putting us in this fake Narnia? Come on.
Look at
They
that.
had to bend it like Beckham, dude.
That's lovely scattered cloud cover there. Oh, it almost looks like snow on top of mountains.
Oh, wow.
People don't pay attention to that, though, do they?
No.
Honestly.
So in other words, because they just take pressures, they're able to fake their speeds then. So how can you really trust that the plane really flies the speed they claim?
Go to the NBSB site and see how they actually determine it. The people who did the pitch data stuff, they have it on their site, I'm sure. There's the safety people.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, now they say flight plans, okay? Now they're like saying, oh, but look at the distance you traveled with the speed. How do you know that you traveled that distance, first of all? And how do you know that speed is what you traveled? Because it's calculated. It's not measured. It's actually just calculated based on pressure.
I tell you, the best way to do it is put mile markers in the sky, class.
No, but what I'm trying to make my point is they can fake it. So when they say, okay, I've flown 4 hours at 900 kilometers an hour, they could have flown 4 hours and not the distance they claimed at a different speed.
That makes it a different equation. Same equation with different numbers. Different outcome.
Yeah, so let's say they say, okay, we fly from Johannesburg to Cape Town. It takes an hour to fly there, and we're traveling 600 kilometers an hour. Maybe the distance isn't what they claim, and the distance is actually shorter. Your time getting there is an hour, but your speed is different. Your speed is, let's say, 500 kilometers an hour, but you get to destination in an hour because the distance is not what was computed with the set.
Yeah. Okay. For example, sometimes I experienced that myself, that we had a half an hour flight delay. And let's say flight's supposed to be 3 hours, 20 minutes. So we're supposed to come half an hour later, roughly, yeah? But sometimes we even came before time, the scheduled time. So we were 30 minutes delayed, and we came like even 10 minutes earlier, so 40 minutes. So it means they were flying faster. So you can't really know how fast they are flying. You just can't know. You don't know. Just believe, because it's average speed, yeah?
Well, how do they come to that average, though?
So it's all just calculated speeds. It's not actually measured speed.
Yeah. It's got to be.
And I think this is something we actually have to bring up whenever a glober tries to, but the distances only work on a globe with speed. Not actually. You can't, first of all, prove those are the distances. And you can't prove those are the speeds the plane flew.
You better prove your ball first.
They haven't done that yet, dude. I promise.
I'm not having it. Only works on a globe. You better prove that globe first if you're making that sort of remark.
Well, they say that proves the globe is their calculations.
But I mean,
that's all.
let's for instance even look at a boat like the Vendee race. What happens if you're hitting a current that's actually pulling you back? You still look like you're going forward, but you're actually going backwards.
You probably get that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you know how much knots you're actually traveling? You computing you are traveling forward with, let's say, 20 knots. In the meantime, you're traveling backwards or sideways. So it's an
estimate. It has to be.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Always there, and we're acclimated to it. At the same time, the central hole measures stagnation pressure, which is a sum of dynamic and static pressures. This is the pressure we experience when moving. Bernoulli's equation states that stagnation pressure equals static pressure plus dynamic pressure. In other words, dynamic pressure, which is the pressure that will tell us the speed, is the difference between stagnation and static pressure. By calculating the difference, we can get the airspeed through this formula. All aircraft measure the speed using the same principles, although the tubes can look.
And what if it's a windy day and it's blowing more air into it? Does that change your airspeed now?
Yeah. I mean,
if it's a warm day, the air is going to be traveling
faster.
Slower too. Yeah, faster. Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Look different. On fighter jets, they're usually placed right in the nose and can measure both pressures, but on commercial planes, there is usually a tube in the front that measures stagnation pressure and a hole on the side that measures static pressure. On small planes, the tube is combined, like on fighter jets.
Oh, behave. Brenda, don't watch this, please.
And located on a V. Pitot-static tubes are also used in helicopters, ships, and even in Formula 1 cars. But if the pitot tube will clog, it can lead to incorrect speed readings, which is dangerous.
Good, if it's clogged, it can read to incorrect speed readings.
Did a bird fly into it?
Well, that's a hornet by the looks of it. It's a big old hornet, isn't it?
I think we made that.
It's a murder hornet, man. Trying to crash our plane.
But I think we've made the point. Yeah, they can't claim the distances and speeds because it's all calculations. It's not actual measurements. So we have all the right to say, prove it.
Yeah.
Prove that you claim that that's the distance and the speed they traveled in that time. Prove it.
This is what I've been saying about these maps the whole time. I'm like, look, you've got measured statute miles along with calculated distances that are across the large majority of the entire map. And especially when you get south of the equator, and now everything's based on relative movement and time. And that's it. You don't have any celestial north, and it's real easy for them to just put anything wherever the hell they want to down there.
Yeah. Well, none of the Celestials actually sit still down there, do they? There's no points you can actually reference, so there's no way to get an average like that. Yeah. You're subject to every element there is, right?
Yeah.
I just want to say, Taking Back Eden, thank you for $2. It says, any uncut of Earth videos from India, China, US? No. Exactly. It's always edited stuff. Really appreciate the super chat. Thank you back, Taking Back Eden. You rock. And by the way, guys, we got 71 likes. I'm sure we can get it up to 100. Please. I mean, we've got the votes say, after 126 votes, 41% say yes. No, 44%. We know who that is. And about to 15%. So come, let's get at least 30 likes more. It really, really does help the channel. You guys rock. Whew.
El Rockers.
Why is it so hot?
Because it's middle of the summer, man. It's
It's
colder
just
than
now
lovely
becoming.
out here. We had spring. We had spring yesterday. Now we're having winter again today. We're supposed to get freezing rain tonight.
Oh,
It
UK
was
weather.
like 60 degrees yesterday. I went outside in just a shirt, played with the dogs after work, and no problem, right? Went out to let them
Jesus.
out today. I'm like, no way. I'm going out there. No way.
Why the America is using Fahrenheit, not like a normal world Celsius? I don't get it.
I know.
It's
We
like
need to get the rest of the world converted over to this screwy ass
no, it's
system
a
that we
SI.
use.
It's a SI system. All world works on a SI. Fahrenheit is not in a SI, so I don't get it.
No. See, the rest of the world's
Apparently
wrong.
Fahrenheit's more accurate.
No.
Celsius, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the
The rest
freezing
of the
temperature?
world's
0
wrong.
degrees,
Listen,
yeah? It's 0,
don't
not
start
freaking
making a
minus
fuss
whatever,
about it.
70.
We'll get Trump signing executive orders making all you fuckers go standard, man. You guys ain't using metric. No more
Should be SI,
metric.
I'm telling
Anybody
you.
that uses metrics, we're just going to bomb you and put tariffs on you. You know?
Or
See,
like a freaking
we use metric over here as
gallon
well,
and so on.
but
Freaking hell.
Fahrenheit is more
Nuts.
accurate, I heard, isn't it, than
Yeah.
centigrade or Celsius? But I use Celsius as well. I'm decimalized, but it's weird. I'm decimalized, but yet I am still 5'11". You know.
Yeah. What?
Over here, I didn't start using metrics till I was like 12 years old. Man, been using standard wrenches most of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what gets me is you get in working on something.
Now, if
half
we
of
try-
it's metric and half of it's standard, and it's like, oh, come on. Make up your mind. You got metric shit hooked up to standard stuff. It's like, give me a break here.
I was thinking that they will get rid of changing time, from the winter to summer and from summer to winter. 1 hour plus, 1 hour minus. Because, to be honest, there is no point at this point to have it. Because that was only invented for the purpose to save the candles. And so guys wouldn't need to go so early, it was dark and so on. So to save the money on candles, on the streets, on the lamps. So now we have electricity, so we don't need to have freaking summertime, wintertime. They can change it to one time, but no, still flipping freaking twice a year.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this video from Phuket Word where he places, thank you, Wolfie, for showing a shrinking sun.
Oh, yeah. I saw it.
With a solar filter. So I think this is quite cool because doesn't the globe claim you can't have the sun shrinking?
They claim it, but it's a stupid claim.
But that's only on the ground.
Yeah, but remember, they claim because it's 93 million miles away, it shouldn't change angular size. So that's just a claim debunked once again. Proving the sun is not 93 million miles away, correct?
But that Chris Van Matry guy debunked this in about 2016.
I remember that,
yeah.
where he actually walked through the forest and did it in different times as well, following the sun during the day.
That's the thing with ballers. They just parrot what they've heard. Next baller, sir.
Guys, I will make you jealous now. I'm eating now Polish kielbasa. In America, probably you know what kielbasa is. It's not sausage, it's kielbasa. So if you have a chance, try it, guys. You will love it, believe me.
Janos, I have some in the fridge right now, by the way.
Polish one? Kielbasa?
No, it's American kielbasa. That's what they.
Yeah, if it's American kielbasa, it means it was made by the Polish guys.
Nice.
Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. When you point out to a globe Earth believer that horizons are created in our eyes because of perspective governing our vision and any observations that we make, showing us that the surface is level, and we see the sun rising and setting because of perspective as the sun goes off into the distance rather than the Earth spinning around to make the sun rise and set, you'll often be met with the challenge to then show that the sun shrinks in angular size as it goes off into the distance and sets. And we can see here in this footage by P900 Coolpix, otherwise known as Sandra, that the sun does indeed shrink in angular size. As
I'll put Phuket Word's link in for you guys if you want to go watch it. Very good.
Goes off into the distance. Now, here's some of my own footage taken from Phuket in southern Thailand, so it's quite near the equator. And you can see that the sun goes off in more or less a straight line here compared to Sandra's footage, which showed the sun going diagonally as it headed off into the distance. We can see the reflection on the water. And another important thing to bear in mind here when we're seeing the sun get cut off before it shrinks to an infinitesimally small dot is that we can only see across the surface a short distance, a few miles, with any clarity, because we are quite close to the surface. We might be about 2 meters above the surface here. So the distance to the horizon that we see on the surface is not very far compared to the distance that we can see in the transparent sky.
Look at that,
which is maybe many hundred miles or 1,000 or more miles. Obviously, the cloud and the haze on top or above the surface is going to contribute to the sun being cut off. And we also have the fact that because of the change in angular size in everything that we see, those clouds in the distance are just a thin line on top of the horizon. It's part of the horizon at that great distance, even though that column of cloud might...
Glober's song on the chat. We can watch it later, so you will know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a flat world after all. That's all I got to say. There's no doubt about it. There's so many proofs for flat Earth. It's incredible.
I just want to go to yeah.
I was going to tell JK we got a place out in just outside of Detroit called Hamtramck that is a Polish community. It was like when there was a bunch of Polish immigrants came here, and that's like where they settled. And on Fat Tuesday, we get these great big old fat jelly rolls.
Yes.
Called
in Poland. Yep.
Punchkis. And man, those are a tradition.
It's donuts, but it's not exactly donut. It's a different story. You try it?
What? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think so. Much better than American one. That's really freaking fat. It's called.
Yeah, man. It's they're about this big, man.
Yes. Yep. They are made fully in oil. Just flip sides when you finish that, and sometimes it's like a jello, jam, whatever inside. Whatever you want to put there. Yeah, freaking awesome, man. It's called Fat Thursday in Poland.
Okay. Yeah, they have it Fat Tuesday here.
All right, Fat Tuesday.
Right before Lent.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are making me hungry. Stop it.
Okay. Let's see Wolfie debunk the globe again like he usually does.
So here is some footage by Wolfie 6020 of the sun setting off Sydney, Australia, using a solar filter. And now Wolfie 6020 is an ardent globe believer. He doesn't really like flat earthers. And in his mind here, the sun is not changing in angular size as it sets. And because of the filter and the darkness, we can't see any reference to how high this footage was actually taken.
Changing
above.
your eyes, man.
You can see it. You can see it.
Yeah.
This is up a bit, definitely. Like, there's definitely some more.
Hey, can I share screen?
Yeah. Stop sharing quickly.
Yeah, this is just his first little part of this. This is watch this thing. Oh no, what's happening to it?
Oh
no.
It seems to be staying the same size, Of.
Wow.
Oh my god.
I wanted to show
Crazy.
you,
Crazy how it stays.
Punchki, Favorki, and so on, but the freaking link is too long. I can write for you what you can type in the browser, and you will see the pictures how it looks like. So just give me a second.
So that's from my sunset with solar filter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can definitely see the
Look at
bottom
that
of it
difference.
reflecting. Yeah.
There's a big difference. Big difference.
Big difference.
Nice.
Just use this
So
phrase and go for the pictures.
I got a question about whoopies right there. The cutoff point is so straight like a line. He has no reflection at all.
Hmm.
He's got solar filter on there, Roger.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The surface, but
Okay.
you can see that it sets there. Let's just play that one more time. And at first glance, it doesn't seem to appear to change in angular size.
Yeah, you can see it.
But Wolfie's just put this footage up here, and he hasn't made any measurements of this observation. So I've taken this footage and I've put it into GIMP.
Who are you calling a GIMP? Who are you calling a GIMP, man?
Yeah.
I've got GIMP, don't know how to use it.
I know I had GIMP. I've got GIMP on the laptop. I think Paul put it on there before
man.
he passed me the laptop.
So, PJ, you got your laptop from Paul? I didn't know that.
No, I didn't get it yet. But I gave Paul the money for it. He got it for me. Then I gave him the money for it because I trusted him in what to get. You know what I mean? He knew better than me about computers. So yeah, he didn't buy me it, sort of thing. He actually paid for it without me knowing. You know what I mean? But and then I gave him the money afterwards. He didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? I didn't ask him to do that, but he did do that. But yeah, no, he didn't pay for it in the end. I gave him the money for it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But
He did it for a lot of people, didn't he?
Yeah. He did actually. I trusted him into computers, you know. So
I had a message off him yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Huh.
Yeah. Cause I asked him if he could remember me, because he cleaned my laptop up, you know, and took everything off it, freed all the space up and that, and he changed my password, and I can't remember it. So I'd messaged him to ask if he could remember my password, and he messaged me back yesterday.
Ah, cool. Did he say anything about
he's
himself?
okay. So he's doing okay.
I don't know.
he just basically told you what you wanted to know.
Yeah.
But
thinking of that now, guys, this month sometime, I'm just waiting. There's going to be an awesome observation being presented over 150 miles. Really, really awesome. And a awesome song coming out that he's been working hard on. I'm not going to say who it is or what it is, but just say keep tuned for this month. There's going to be some a very awesome development, observation, and a song.
Brilliant.
And the song kind of gives some clue to who it is, maybe.
Yeah, I think I know.
Nah, I don't know. I don't think you guys know.
No, okay. he's holding out on us.
It's not me.
So in order to measure whether there is a difference or a change in the angular size of the sun, I've taken 3 screenshots of the footage we saw just now at different times as the sun was setting, and then cropped and layered them. So you can see over here I've got the top layer here, and then the middle layer, all right, and then the bottom layer under that. So nothing has been changed in terms of size, but just the different strips have been cropped so that we can place all of them on the same image and then make some measurements. So with another layer, I've already done this, but I'll take you through the process. I created a circle that fits snugly with the top one, which would be the largest, and we should then see whether or not there's a change from the size of this circle as we put it around the other 2. So let me just zoom in on this so you can see it better. All right.
You can already see it, Flats. They're definitely
basically what I did is I took the ellipse tool and then drew around it, and then moved that so it was then placed over the second one to see if there's any change.
I'm sure there's a proper angular size measuring thing on that GIMP. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Straight away.
Having to mess about
there is a bit of a.
Yeah, you can already see. Look at it. It's already changing size.
Squished it right up.
Like it's actually moving away from you. Yeah.
Yeah. Weird.
What fits snugly around the sun at the top now shows a larger circle than the size of the sun. So the sun has shrunk in that respect. And if we then go down to the bottom, we can see that there's an even more dramatic change in the size of the sun compared to the original size of the sun when it was at the top right of the screen. Okay. Of course, you can do this yourself. You don't have to believe me. Just the other day to show you how the clouds contribute to the sun setting and cutting off the sun at sunset.
Yep, that also happens. Thank you, Taking Back Eden, for your $2. Says high noon versus horizon. They rotate away from the sun 6 kilometer miles. 6 kilometer eye.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Taking Back Eden, you rock. But yeah, the horizon's flat, guys. No doubt about that.
Well, I think their excuse for the angular size change would be that we're moving back from the sun. We're spinning away from it. So I don't think that they have any other way to go with it.
No, they don't. But I mean, I've seen a lot of what the globies try and claim there's no angular size change, and then you go look at it, and there's definitely angular size change.
Yeah.
It's not an argument, is it?
No, not really. Again, guys, the sun changing angular size does not do anything other than just showing the sun's local. That's it. Does it prove a flat Earth or globe Earth? No. But it does destroy the claim made that it's 93 million miles away.
Well, it's pretty simple. It's like this. Look, if I have this object right now, right, and I'm up close to you with it, and I move it closer and back, okay, I'm going to go out arm's length and then back to my face. Okay, now let me move back. Move all the way back here. Now see how much difference there is when I move it over you.
Not much.
Barely
Exactly.
Yeah.
Big difference. Big difference.
I don't know why these people have lived their whole life with eyeballs and don't know how the hell they work.
Exactly.
I like the shirt, Saab. I didn't see it until just now.
I know why they don't, because people told them they see what they don't see, and they believe it.
That's it. Trust me, bro.
They don't understand perspective at all, do they? They don't get it.
It's mad because it's not that hard.
And the most funny thing is that the guys who are painters, and they're painting this kind of perspective, the buildings, the roads, and so on, and they can't get the idea of the flat Earth. They still believe in a globe. How you can still believe in a globe Earth if you are a painter, professional painter? I just don't get it.
Yeah, they know how light works and all that kind of stuff, shadows, perspective. You'd think they'd know.
I had a conversation with one time, and he actually said, "I can walk forever because the Earth is spinning." I'm like, that's his mentality, man. That's insane. You're never going to get anywhere because the Earth's spinning.
That's what he assumes. Tell him go north all the time, and tell him that we'll see if you pass 60th parallel. Okay, let's see what happens. When they try to stop you, keep pushing.
Where's the guns, Nathan?
Won't be between us, alive any longer.
Short flight timeline, Punta Arenas to Union Glacier. The time lapse is from December 14, 2024. It starts about an hour before landing, right as the peninsula was ending and the mainland was coming into view. After a short time above the frozen ground, we begin to see the mountains in the distance and eventually turn towards them, landing on a blue ice natural runway. Unfortunately, the camera falls off the window just seconds before landing. You can see the landing on my chest cam footage, but this camera was on the floor. Sorry. Okay. Shame.
Yeah. It just brings up balls out physics explanation of east-west runways and north-south runways, and how do you land on it if it's actually moving?
Mm-hmm.
North, east, southwest. It's exactly the news from around the world. That's what it is.
I want to know, since he did this, why didn't they show us them flying over the ocean?
And what was their altitude when they was during the flight? What was the apex of their altitude?
Yeah, look how low they're flying. It doesn't look very high.
I would say close to 12,000 feet, almost 15,000 feet, from what I'm looking at, just by eyeballing it. They're not very high, no.
Look how dark that sky gets.
Yeah.
And you see, just them flying in, check there, the difference. You can see the difference in light. We didn't see that difference when they were there.
That almost looks like cloud cover, doesn't it? But the shadows give it away.
Yeah, look. There's the shadow from the clouds. Low-lying clouds.
All right.
Oh, we're in the cloud cover, aren't we?
A little bit.
That sky almost starts to look like what you'd see up at about 100,000 feet. You know, how
it does get dark quickly.
Fades up dark.
Almost like a sun that was setting.
It never sets in Antarctica, but I'm getting that from both sides now. Everybody's saying it's definitely a 24-hour sun in Antarctica for flat earthers and globe earthers, both.
If it was, they wouldn't have had to pull all the bullshit that they did.
How did they find that, mate?
And like we said before, they would have opportunity for people that would create 24-hour sun, come and see, and journey. There is nothing like that. It would be 100%, but there is no. You can tell. Sometimes the things which are not told speak the loudest.
Yeah, you read between the lines pretty easy. Last night on my channel, I took Scott through the footage of the 24-hour midnight sun, and I said, "Did you watch all that? Did you actually get that was a 24-hour sun?" He's like, "No." And like, same here, but he was saying that there was a 24-hour sun, and they've known it, even in the flat Earth community. So I didn't get it. It's weird.
First of all, no promised stream. Second of all, we watched the video with the guy who said that Duffy will call him during the stream. He didn't.
Yep.
That's only just those two arguments. FT is done.
Oh, and Jaron didn't say set. He said scene. No set.
It's showing Godfrey's live right now, but if I go to his channel, it's showing he's not live. He still hasn't replied to me. I've emailed him twice.
But they have excuses. That's it.
I have to say, you want Dr. Finn, David Weiss, interviewing that Dr. Shiva guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I've heard they've been talking about that.
We really need to stop that guy from...
Ayudari, talking about the guy who invented email? Yeah, Ayudari.
Shiva guy.
Shiva Ayudari, yes.
Shiva.
Yeah, Shiva was... I watched a minute of it, and it was like he was, okay, I'm doing you a favor. I'm just here. I'm just going to act like...
it was bad and all that, Shiva. Like, he didn't know what he was talking about. But David,
problem with the ego.
We really need to stop that guy talking to people.
I remember I was...
he's everywhere.
It was Jesse Hall. He has a platform, nearly 1,000 interviews, and there was a guy who was huge supporter of Trump, so I challenged him one question, and I said, no, Trump is great, he's bringing the situations, and so on. So I dropped few more things, and I said, oh, you don't respect me, I just made you a favor, I replied to your post. I was like, no, I say nothing. What the fuck, ego? Too big to contain in the room,
Wolfie brought out the video 22 hours ago.
About what?
equatorial mount debunks the flat Earth. Oh, okay.
Crying out loud.
How so?
Let's see.
You got reference to equatorial plane to get that right.
He says equatorial mounts confirm we live on a globe. Flat Earthers still can't figure out why. Okay, let's see. It's only a minute long though.
Is that
So I hope everybody is well. I'm currently in Dallas in the USA doing my annual training, but anyone that has followed my channel since the beginning knows that I have numerous videos demonstrating why an equatorial mount cannot work on a flat Earth.
Yet an equatorial mount literally requires a flat plane to function.
It cannot work on a flat Earth.
It cannot work. Yeah, you're right.
This is bad as McKeegan, dude. Yeah.
He just shoot himself in the foot, with this argument.
That's so mad to say that.
It's people.
It's the only way it does work.
Why the equatorial mount confirms we live on a globe. Now, unfortunately, and this is not intended as an insult, but the typical flat earther you will encounter lacks the intelligence to understand how an equatorial mount works.
Literally an insult. You just claim not to insult and then you insult.
No,
But it's not
usual
intended to be an
flat earther
insult.
use his brain and doesn't believe in the program perception of reality. That's the difference.
That's just pure projection.
Yeah.
That is. I mean, you don't. Equatorial mount is literally just a mount. It just takes a rotation. You don't have to track anything. It's not tracking anything.
No, it's not like it's hooked to it.
And you have to level that mount to the plane of the equator, right? That's a fact. Yeah.
But I mean, I actually need a plate to do this. Be back.
What kind of plate is he going to get? That's the question. Is it going to be white, red?
Dinner?
Ah, there you go. White. I was right.
Just to let you know, Globus, this is round. So when you say you live on a round Earth, yeah, I agree. Not a sphere. Okay. Let me try and explain this. Let's take the equatorial plane. The equatorial mount just follows this plane of reference. So if your mount is situated this way, it's literally taking a rotation 15 degrees an hour, whatever you set it to, that way. Do it this way, does exactly the same. Do it this way, does exactly the same. Doesn't matter what orientation you put in, it's literally just a circle taking a rotation of 360 degrees. That's it. There is no shape around it that's determined by this plate.
Hey, Flats, can you dumb it down for me a little bit more? I didn't get all that.
Oh, man.
And therefore, years later, they still don't understand why the equatorial mount proves we live on a globe. But I just wanted to make this video to bring your attention to a video on Dave McKeegan's channel. Dave recently went to Antarctica with an equatorial mount and filmed the 24-hour sun. And he here gives a very good explanation of how the equatorial mount works. So just remember, when you're dealing with a flat earther and you bring up the topic of equatorial mounts, they literally will lack the intelligence to understand what you're talking about. Go and enjoy Dave's video.
Sorry.
That wasn't an insult at all. No.
Wow, is that it?
Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, brilliant.
So he's actually just, he made a video.
Just claims.
Yeah, he made a video to insult flat earthers by saying he's not insulting them. And then he shouted out Dave McKeegan's channel.
That's it.
Which literally Dave McKeegan makes my point. It's just a rotation. It's a rotation of a plate, you could say. Let's play some another thing. Let's say this is what you're tracking moving in the sky. It's just going this way. Okay? You can set it to follow the rotation. Heck, you can set it this way. It follows the rotation. It doesn't actually track the thing you're trying to observe. It literally just, you set a plane of reference of 360 degrees and it just rotates for 360 degrees until it finally makes a full rotation. So guess what happens, Globies? If you see a star at 6 o'clock at night when you start in a position, guess what happens? Tomorrow, it's going to be there again. Why? Because it takes a circuit. That doesn't mean you've literally tracked it going underneath the ground. It's moved away from you, and thanks to things called perspective, it appears to go into the convergence zone. Then it comes back the other side because it has taken its full rotation to come back. Can I make it dumber for them?
I don't think so. It's possible. But they will still won't understand that,
The mechanics behind an equatorial mount literally requires a flat plane to work.
No matter what
measurements
obstructs your
are
view
flat
between here and
measurements.
there.
Even the globe measurements are flat measurements, which is so funny.
It's insane. These guys just, they don't get it. Okay, guys, we're 6 likes away from 100. Woohoo! Please do hit the likes if you haven't already. Wow.
You got a great name for your channel, Perspective. It just works.
It does work. Oh. Wow, what an exciting stream.
Chill stream. It's a chill stream.
Now I feel educated.
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 Never heard this one. Good one. I like it.
Educated, yeah.
Educated.
I'm waiting for somebody to blow the whistle on the final experiment. One of these guys got a crack and just say, yeah, we did it all. Half in studio, half out. But, if they get enough money, they're not going to say anything.
They ain't going to say it. They ain't.
No.
I mean, you can see it on them. You can see that they don't look well. But yeah, they won't crack. They'll just... If they go to the cracking point, they'll just disappear. So they can't.
I'm sure there was NDA involved. And if they spill the beans, oh man, they go bankrupt, They will be the big pile of shit.
Hello.
Hello. Taxi in the runway? Yeah.
Yeah.
Best argument that I always hear from the Globers is like, ask the pilots. They always say the Earth is globe. I can give you a freaking video with the hundreds of pilots saying that no, and they've never seen the curve.
Yeah, but you know what happened to the first bunch that did it? They lost their license, lost their careers over the crap.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's why private pilots are the best to interview, people that don't have to worry about that.
Can I take off yet? Okay. Okay, I gotta take off now.
Can I quickly share the screen?
Quick.
It's a cockpit, yeah?
Flats.
Yeah.
Can I quickly share my screen before you go on with this?
Yeah.
A little animation of an equatorial mount that I got off ASA website.
Official, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, fire show.
Can you see? Am I sharing?
There we go. Yeah.
Right, watch.
See? Just the rotation. Exactly what I'm saying. It just takes a rotation.
How does that prove a globe again?
Dumb.
They claim that is going. But you see, they think that star they're tracking is physically going below their feet.
Yeah.
Because they are. How can we say this? Idiots.
I was going to say retarded, but yeah, that's cool.
I mean,
that works.
If you look in the distance and you look at light poles, okay, they go for miles and miles. Do those light poles physically go into the ground?
No.
Guys, please never call Globers retards, because you really insult retards.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
We don't want to be like Woofy and insult people, or not intend to insult people with insulting people.
Yeah. Wolfie, what the fuck?
Well, I want to point out something, guys. Look at this plane landing, okay? Now notice there's two different reference points here. This plane, which is on the so-called moving Earth, as they put it, and the plane coming down. Why is the plane not adjusting for Earth's rotation?
Because the Earth's not rotating, sir?
That's weird.
Seems quite a good landing, safe landing. I mean,
yeah.
If the Earth was moving underneath it, wouldn't it be a little bit dodgy and a bit unstable, skidding all over the place? You know?
But you don't understand inertial forces, PJ. It's just the inertia. When you take off, you still retain that the whole time you're flying. And all the molecules in the air are bonded to the gravity in the Earth at the same time.
Let's
go.
Woohoo! Okay, we're going to take off.
But the wheels didn't make contact with the ground anyway. It was the electrons.
Oh, yeah. You could put your hand through a wall if you had it.
See, there's the compass reading. Right? Yeah.
I wonder if they set their gyro before they took off.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Did they cage that gyro after they set it? I'm thinking they did too.
Yep. Remember, they're set. How do they know that? If they didn't do that, they wouldn't know which direction they're going. They wouldn't know what orientation their plane is flying at.
And that compass points north, doesn't it, for some odd reason?
That's not what the indicators are.
Well, they're independent from the gyro, but they rely on the gyro. Just ask Bob.
He's looking for the sunroof.
One of these buttons have to open the sunroof.
I had a Saturn with a sunroof, and my girls, when they were younger, they'd stand up inside the car and put their head out the top of it.
Yeah, sunroof. I mean, come on, everybody has to have done that as a kid if you've got a sunroof in the car.
Oh yeah, it's not exactly the safest thing, but I take them out to the canyon in Walnut Canyon down in next to the Grand Canyon and drive out in the woods. They'd have fun.
Nice.
No traffic. Yeah.
My dad had this station wagon, and we'd ride in the back of that station wagon. My brother, he'd be sticking his head out that back window and sticking his tongue out at cars and shit. And my dad, he went to roll that window up, and my brother realized that he started to pull his head halfway. He got it about right here, and that damn thing was sitting there going like that. My dad's like, "Why isn't this freaking window working? Stop that hollering back there so I can figure this out." I'm like, "Oh my God."
Nice. I just had a challenge for Whoopi to, next time he goes for a flight, uncage his gyro before he his altimeter, so he can make sure he gets horizontal proper. Just like Critical Think didn't calibrate his scales to get the right weight. It's insane, dude.
Oh, you're going to farm and details. It's not important. Details.
Because the moon also casts the...
Oh, there we go. Putting it on. There we go.
That looks like a real picture, doesn't it?
It is. It is a real picture. Taken from space.
Space. That looks like diverging light rays there to me, from what I can tell.
Where does the sound go? Oh, I got it muted. What the frick? Oh, I could have swore I clicked that off. I must have turned it on. All right, my bad.
The Eratosthenes shadow experiment is used as a proof that the Earth is a globe, but moonlight proves the exact same shadows as the sun, which completely disproves this experiment. But before going into more detail about this, I will briefly explain Eratosthenes' experiment for those who may not know about it or forgot what it was. Eratosthenes noticed that at the same time on Earth, shadows are of different lengths and angles depending on where you are on Earth. He then wondered how this was possible and ultimately deduced that this is only possible if the sun's light comes parallel to the Earth, and the Earth is a curved surface, as shown in the diagram. However, the sun's light can only be assumed to be parallel because the sun is claimed to be 109 times larger than the Earth. But this then creates a paradox, because the moon also casts the exact same shadows as the sun, and yet the moon is only supposed to be a quarter the size of the Earth. The problem is, if the moon's light is assumed to be parallel, then it would only illuminate a small portion of the Earth.
Why weren't them shadows blue?
Half of the Earth is supposed to be able to see the moon at any given time when the moon is illuminated. And so half of the Earth should also be illuminated by the moon. But by assuming parallel light from the moon, half of the Earth would not be illuminated by the moon. So the moon's light cannot be parallel, but it has to be if the sun's light is supposed to be parallel, because they both must create the same shadows. The only way that the sun and the moon can create the same shadows is if both lights act in the same way. And only the flat Earth model has both the sun and the moon illuminating the Earth in the same way. Both are radial lights that are smaller and closer to the Earth than in the globe model. So by also considering the light of the moon, only one model allows both the sun and the moon to cast the same shadows, the flat Earth model, while the globe model cannot account for that.
Ooh, 102 likes. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have to correct that guy. He shouldn't have used the word experiment. It definitely wasn't an experiment.
No, it's an observation. Absolutely.
I just saw
how they figured out the size and how far the sun is from Earth. How they figure it out? Did they fly over there? Did they check it? Did they check the distance in the flight? How they fucking did that? Ah, right, calculations.
Well, the calculations came first. Then we landed on the moon and we sent a probe to the sun. So we actually have done this. It's
Yeah, I remember the question. It was like a pretty nice, neat video. Yeah, we just watched the moon landing. Okay, but who is filming that? What do you mean? Who is filming that? If Armstrong is first on the moon, so who is filming him?
Well, it's a mechanical arm that did it, according to them. But the other thing is that in Australia, a girl watching the moon landing on a movie screen actually saw a Coke bottle roll across the set.
One of the guys said, it's like, oh, I've seen the moon landing. You didn't. What do you mean you didn't? I've seen it on TV. No, it was animation.
Oh.
And he said it, and later, no more video.
You're quoting
I think it's
Buzz.
still somewhere, possibly on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Good old Buzz.
I've just found this channel. I haven't watched it yet. Dark Element Films. Where it says expose the final experiment article. See what he says about the sun nose. Have you guys seen this yet before? I just found this. I don't
Never
know.
heard of it. Nice.
Yeah. Let's see.
Take a close look at this sequence and notice the shadow of the aerial on the blue building. It moves clearly and consistently, as if the sun is shifting across the sky. Now
Yeah, it's shifting there, but it's not shifting here.
Shift your attention to the small tripod shadow in the foreground. It doesn't move at all.
Yeah, he's right. All the others are moving, just not that tripod.
This is an undeniable contradiction. If the sun is positioned, as they say, 93 million miles away, is truly the light source, all shadows should move in unison and at the same rate, regardless of their position in the scene. But that's not what we see here. The aerial shadow changes direction while the tripod shadow
Stays the
remains
same.
fixed. This suggests two entirely different light behaviors within the same scene, an impossibility under natural sunlight. The only plausible explanation is manipulation. Layers of footage may have been composited or digitally altered, but inconsistencies in shadow movement exposes the trickery. This is clear evidence that the footage is not authentic. The lighting and shadows in this scene defy the laws of nature, and no amount of excuses can reconcile these blatant errors.
That's quite interesting. Why would that happen? Yeah, because you can see, I'm looking through all the shadows. All the shadows are changing, just not this tripod.
If one shadow moves, all shadows should move.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that tripod's just too close to the light source for it. So
And as far as I'm concerned, you need one anomaly like that and write it all off.
Exactly. Just one thing like that.
Image closely. Focus on the shadows cast by the two men in blue jackets near the center of the frame. Their shadows extend at a distinct angle, pointing slightly to the right. This angle suggests the sun is positioned high in the sky, directly above and slightly behind them.
I
But
found
now
the
look
video,
at the
guys. It's
shadows
only
of
like
the two
30 seconds.
Okay.
You can watch it
individuals
later.
in black
I
jackets
just
near
posted.
the orange vehicle and the blue building that's on the right. Their shadows diverge at a completely different angle, as if the sun is positioned lower and farther to their left. This glaring inconsistency is impossible under a single distant light source like the sun. If the sun were truly 93 million miles away, all the shadows would run parallel, no matter where the objects or individuals were positioned. Instead, these varying
Give it a
shadow
like and a
angles
subscribe.
reveal
Maybe
a
it's got
fatal
more.
flaw in this footage.
And I'll put it in for you. Okay, what's the video, Janusz?
Yeah, I posted. It's 26 seconds. Buzz Aldrin. Just put this one. And people say believe it, you know. They think they saw it. That they've seen the moon landing. They didn't. And he explains it in the perfect details. Very short, very nice and neat.
That's a legal name, passport, driver's license.
And I am Uncle Coney tonight.
Uncle Coney.
Let's talk about this, because this is fascinating. I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does. I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. See, you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
Yeah, I know.
And people still believe, yeah, I've seen the moon landing.
That's true.
Well, that's the big trust me, bro. You know, we went to the moon.
The best, you know, for me, the best way to figure it out if someone is NPC, non-playing character, or he really has intelligence. Ask someone about the thing which is not on the news, on TV. Something happened recently, for example, and ask him about his opinion. He will have no opinion. Even if you can use common sense and figure it out, he will have no opinion. NPC.
Yep.
So, guess that's the stream. You guys have any closing statements? Any thoughts?
Decent stream. It was just a good stream. It's a chill.
Yeah. Would have been nice if that
If you had more time.
that dude could actually just, I don't know, stayed longer and we could have actually had proper conversation.
He seemed a little. He did seem a bit rushed. He did kind of cut you off at the end of your sentences. He just wanted to get in there every time. It wasn't kind of like talking over you as such. It was just he wouldn't let you finish.
Yeah, but I just got a feeling that he just wanted to come in to try and do it. I got you. In the meantime, he just showed himself to be, sorry to say, a fool.
I think so. Is he pals with drunk dude?
With Mike, yeah.
Yeah, because he was in chat giving it all D when he was.
But like I said, they wanted me to go and debate on Mike's channel specifically with this guy. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting on that channel anymore.
You'd start starving them. If they don't come on your channel, you don't go on theirs, earning them money.
That's what I said. He can come here.
I agree.
And now he came, and then, yeah, you can clearly see that it's like they had a conversation. They thought, oh, we're going to catch him out here. And it's like, no, you guys just show you don't understand what's going on. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to say, but whatever they were trying to do didn't work.
Sov got in, he had to run, especially when he wanted to have a word with Sov, and then he had to run as soon as Sov got in it.
Yeah, he did say he didn't have time. He had to go ride a horse or something.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like I couldn't have waited 5 minutes.
Horse riding is very important, man.
You need a flat earth for horse riding, by the way.
Yes, you do.
And the horse.
Yeah, I was trying to get on and it was like this thing would not connect up, man. It was just not doing it. So I ended up having to reboot my modem. And that, of course, takes forever. I don't know why. You got all these little blinking lights that happen and shit.
Mine takes
about 20 minutes to come back on if I turn it off.
10 minutes, mine.
I came to some kind of conclusion. Oh, maybe we sound odd, but that's my conclusion anyway. So it appears that Glober's cerebral cortex is not wavy. It looks like their cerebral cortex is flat. So I don't get why they can't understand flat Earth.
Because it's smooth. There's no topography to it.
Exactly.
I don't know how they get like that.
Guys, Roger Ledwell's he's doing a GoFundMe to try and go back to Antarctica end of the year. Hopefully, he can get that sorted and out. Because he wants to go look for the dome.
You need to get balls pushing it because they keep saying, well, why don't one of y'all go then and prove it? So why don't they contribute to Roger as well? Send an honest...
Wolfie and Roger should go.
Oh, goodness. Roger. I think only one of them will come back.
That's quite. If there's one person, let's put it this way: who would you guys go with if you had to choose someone from the Globe side to go with?
I won't go with a Glober. I won't go anywhere. Like I'm not interested in going.
It's a
you know what,
difficult
Flat? I think you really wish us not very well if you are proposing to go with Flat Globbers.
No, the point I'm trying to make is,
oh man,
there are so many Globers, and I can't think really of one I would really say, yeah, okay, I'll go with them. It's like,
if I had to, I couldn't even think of one. Like if I had to go for some reason with a Glober, I can't even think of one, to be honest, that I would want to go with.
It's a very good question, to be honest, and it's hard cookie to crumble. I can't think about even one.
maybe Chris from Your Mopped, if I was thinking about that.
He's about I don't know. I would say that one. I would say probably he's about the nicest, even though I know a lot of people don't trust him. And I think he's about the nicest of them.
I think I know who. Only global Christian, but real Christian. Then he wouldn't lie. That would be the choice. That would be my choice.
Take a begin, Jaren.
Right.
Flat Earth Matt is okay to talk to, probably. I'll go with Sean Hawkins. Yeah, I'll go with Sean Hawkins, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Two go out, only one comes back.
No, that would be a train wreck. That guy. No.
Yeah, when I see your t-shirt, it's Satan. NASA always count, yeah? Start T minus. Yes, NASA plus T. You shift the letters, you have Satan. Okay. That's what it is. The truth is always in plain sight.
I'd go with J. Tolan. J. Tolan. That's what I'd go with.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, J. Tolan.
I want to know if he's really a globe or if he's really a flat earther. But either way, he'd do some brilliant observations.
Yeah, he's got some cool equipment to take nice observations.
Yeah.
I'll bring another one. That's for the Globers. Planet. Plane T. Planet, yeah? Plane and letter T. That's what's planet. Plane Terra. Flat Earth.
Try to mess you up all the time with these words.
Yeah, they have to tell us. That doesn't matter if I believe it, you believe it. Only what matters is that they believe it. So they have to tell us. They're bound by the rules. They have the rules they have to follow. And they have to tell us. That's what they do. So what was that? Mainly Pichol said 33rd level. When people will finally learn to read signs and symbols, the veil from their eyes will fall off.
Yep. Okay, so you got a show coming up, PJ?
Oh yeah, 2 p.m. I'll put links in there. 2 p.m. tomorrow, GMT. The second part of the Rob Scuba thing, the Babylon Rising from 2012. I got it's Rob Scuba obviously, but it's from Dave Beverly's channel.
Awesome.
Let me just put it in there.
And Solve?
Terry Richard.
Probably
pretty good
tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Wait,
Thursday.
Thursday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, either tomorrow night or Friday night, depending on what the work schedule looks like here. I was off today, so I was able to do one last night. But having to get up early has been really putting a cramp in my time.
You have plenty of freaking silent letters in English.
A lot.
So they shouldn't be freaking, even written down. What for?
To confuse you, man. To confuse you.
Yeah, big time. So, for example, in my language, when you know how to read the letter, you can read any word. In English, not so really. Not so much. There's always problem with the surname, You try to read, like, how you pronounce it?
Well, you take the word rough, ROUGH. Now put a TH on the front of it. Is it thruff? No, now it's through. What?
Exactly. Why?
It's just dumb, man.
I think there's a video. This one.
So you have, for example, word tomb, yeah? T-O-M-B.
Yeah.
Yeah, tomb.
The B is silent.
Yeah. And you put B, you have boom? No, you have bomb.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's this one. It's this one. You'll see now. Come on, Edward. Yeah, there.
Down, check
Oh, yeah,
it
this guy,
out.
he's great. Yep.
B-O-M-B, bomb. T-O-M-B, Tom, no, tomb. If T-O-M-B is tomb, that's boom, the bomb's over. But no, that's bomb, that's tomb. Get ready. Is this calm or coom? No, that's comb. And that's why spelling bees are only won by introverted little ugly girls.
But it's true. There's so much things like that. It's just the spelling.
You can never write this crap, unfortunately. There are no rules.
Look.
P-O with an E with an M. Now P-O-E-M, poem, H-O-E-M, home. No, home is H-O with an M with an E. H-O-M-E, home, S-O-M-E, some. No, that's some. S-O-M-E, some. N-O-M-E, numb. No, that's N-U-M-B. The whole doggone...
It is.
I remember the name of that alphabet someone made up to replace like the English alphabet. Like, like you get word like should. The word should is S-H-O-U-L-D, and it's actually should is actually just should. It's two syllables. It should actually just be 2 letters or 3 letters, but it's actually like 6. So he made this alphabet that those kind of you put the letters together like T and H makes the. He made like symbols for the so it's 1 letter. And this language, this alphabet works out a lot better than English, but nobody uses it. I can't remember what it's called.
Well, they tried teaching us that like in the 1st grade, I remember.
I can't remember what it's called.
Like 1970, 1971, they called it ATI or something like that.
I can't remember there's a guy's name. I think it was called after the guy. It might have been called something technical afterwards, but yeah, I don't know what it was called. I mean,
you know that in English you don't have a word for the alphabet. So how many letters is in the alphabet?
26.
No,
I just have to say,
you mean
guys,
the word alphabet?
It seems Bob, not the science guy,
Ignore him.
has really somehow got something wrong with him. He's either very stupid or he's very stupid. because he doesn't get that we don't give a damn about his claims and him wanting us to make something scientific which isn't scientific. So, Bob, you had your chance. You ran like a coward.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Plan or what?
Yeah. Anyway,
What
guys.
what are we planning on measuring? What is it we're measuring?
I forgot. It was that stupid.
I don't know. He's supposed to be measuring scientifically Earth somehow that's science, and he wants us to design an experiment for his claim.
Well, that's dumb.
That is dumb. That's what I said. The guy's stupid. He doesn't get it.
It's your burden to show, man. It's your burden to show. You come up with it. Why would I measure for something I don't even think's there?
Exactly.
I have no reason to. It's like me checking my room for cyanide gas. I know there's none in here. We'd be dead. You know, I mean, this is just stupid.
I have joined Flat's streams, PJ streams, but I can't join yours. So maybe you're streaming on weekends. So then I can wait like a freaking 4 o'clock in the morning or 5, whatever. I would like to join your stream once.
And that's when Sob usually doesn't stream as the weekends.
Friday?
Yeah, Friday most likely. Yeah.
Okay, grand. Just send me invitation or whatever, or send me
the link.
link.
I pinned the link right up in the chat. I'm a brave soul. I'm able to weed them out. I usually put my chat on subscriber mode. And, you know, that kind of gets the trolls, you know, oh, you mean I have to subscribe to be able to say stupid shit? Yes, you do. For 20 minutes to make it count, you know? So.
Yeah, you should be able to make it subscriber mode where they've got to have been subs for a month or something.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, guys, thank you for coming. Appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit the likes, share the show. Tomorrow night, we're going to go on with Steve's video. And then, because I think.
Did you reach out to Steve?
I did, but he hasn't come back to me yet. So I'm going to email him again. Hopefully, he can come and talk.
Be cool to talk to him.
Great to have him come and talk. Yeah.
I usually hit the like button before even stream starts because I know it will be fun.
So, bye, guys. Many blessings, and may the pressure be with you. Cheerio.
Let's meet everyone. Good night.
I'm made for something true. In God's plan, my path.